Welcome to Fireteam Chat, IGN's Destiny show. It has been an intense week of Destiny news. Joining me here at E3 in LA for 2019 is CJ Gibson.
What's up?
Brian Malkowitz.
Word.
And we beat DCP in the raid, Brian.
We did.
Congrats, guys.
Not only I feel like they got disqualified.
Oh,
No.
Do tell.
I'm not going to get nasty. Those guys put on a good race.
All right.
There was a point where we were neck and neck, and I'm like, if one of us beat it here and then the other one is a minute after, it would be perfect. But that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Funny, like the first two place teams. Poor Dado again.
Yeah. Dado,
At least
oh,
six minutes.
Man, I know, something like that. Got the exotic drop and thought that he won. Oof.
Yeah, and that's all that really happened this week.
Yeah, that's it. Well, thanks for
except
tuning in.
Everything is changing.
Oh my gosh.
Destiny is getting cross-save, meaning if you're playing on PlayStation 4 and you've been like, man, I really want to check out PC, you're going to be able to do that. By the way, PC is moving to Steam.
Yeah.
Stadia support is going to be active for Destiny 2. Destiny 2 is going free to play.
Sort of.
New light.
No, it is going free to play. New light.
good
It is
chunk,
the
yeah.
Content add-ons will be you'll pay.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're going to explain that in a little bit more detail early next week. Griffin is putting together a lengthy fact. A lot of people have asked me about that. How is New Light going to work? New Light is going to be free starting September. It does include the base game. You'll start on the Cosmodrome. You'll kind of go through the intro of the game. You'll have access to Gambit. You'll have access to
Destiny
Crucible.
1.
No.
They
Destiny
what?
No,
2.
the
Year one.
game starts in Destiny
Destiny
1.
Oh, yes,
1.
yes.
That
Yes,
first
you are correct.
Cosmodrome mission.
The opening mission.
Yeah.
I wish they would just put the rest of it in there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
That was probably some of the teasing we were talking about last week when everybody was digging into like, oh, it looks like the director and all this sort of stuff, right? So.
Well, we're going to
that's
get
the
the moon.
Exactly.
And Shadowkeep.
So we'll have a little bit of the Cosmodrome, not the whole explorable area. We are going to have the moon,
Yeah.
which will be great.
That's awesome.
And man, this stream, they just rocked it. They
Pretty amazing.
I don't like asking them about stuff that's exclusive to PlayStation 4 that's not coming
You
to
don't have to
Xbox,
anymore.
and I
No,
never have
man.
to again. They're like, we're done with that.
But like
So
the
good.
entire stream was like, without saying we didn't like Activision.
Capital
The
R.
capital R. The
reasons.
capital reasons. Like, yeah. The entire time they were dodging the fact that like we are no longer with Activision, but like that entire stream was we are no longer with Activision.
But it's also really weird too because some of the people were saying from a leak standpoint that they thought that it was initially going to be a Sony or a Microsoft and Steam or whatever the PC equivalent was. People are saying that they didn't know about PlayStation until the last minute. Now we've seen this before with PlayStation with the Fortnite situation where they held out for a long time. So glad PlayStation came around.
Yeah.
I feel like they like Destiny has been a big part of like PlayStation's like platform that they would just look like complete bad guys if they didn't get on
absolutely.
board when everybody else was.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. Like, if you were to take most of the announcements, the cross-save thing is huge. Like, when you're a third-party developer, when you're first-party, it's irrelevant. You obviously are getting, funded by Sony, Microsoft, whoever. When you're third-party, there's no benefit to your game whatsoever to do that, but except, financially, if they've done that for exclusives, right?
So a lot of people have asked about the whole cross-save functionality. They're like, man, if I want to go from PC to Xbox, do I have to pay for that content again? We haven't gotten official confirmation. If I had to guess, the answer is probably yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine if you bought, like right now, you would have to pay for it. Why would that change if you're transferring your save?
Yeah.
You still have to buy it for that platform, I'm guessing.
Well,
we don't know. Hopefully we find out at E3. It's one of the questions on my docket
Absolutely.
for sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
and Bungie actually did confirm with us that they will be stopping by next week. So we're going to get a chance
Great.
to ask them some of these questions, yeah.
They talked to CJ. You've been getting the deets.
Well, we're getting some of the deets, but we actually don't know because all of this has been very last minute. Like, there was a lot of leaks ahead of time, but I mean, I think a lot of these things probably came about at the 11th hour for them.
Yeah.
And I
Especially
mean,
the cross-save thing that came in hot.
The
Yeah.
PlayStation cross-save thing, according to Jason Schreier Kotaku, happened like an hour before
So
or
they had this-
hours
So
before.
I imagine they probably had two Vidocs prepped.
Well, if
one
you-
without the cross-save and one with it.
If you look at the Stadia announcement, it still had the text, and the Stadia announcement was 2 hours before the Bungie announcement.
Yeah.
So they didn't have to. It was a pre-recorded
piece that was in
presentation,
there, yeah.
so they didn't have time to re-export it and everything. So it stayed baked in there, awaiting PlayStation 4 approval. And by the time the Destiny stream happened from Bungie, it was there. Dado was there. Thank you, Dado, for
Yeah.
doing
Giving
some
the hard
fine
questions.
questioning.
Did
Yeah.
great. He asked the trials question. That's all I wanted. Just
Yeah.
wanted that trials question at the end of Luke Smith, so that was
Yeah.
good.
What else do we have here? So I was kind of live tweeting the event. I'm utilizing that for my notes. I retweeted some of the developers like Tocom, who had some
Yeah.
refreshers, and Lars.
Yeah.
But this is a lot of stuff is sort of developing right now. So if we get some stuff wrong, let us know what we got wrong in the comments below. Let
Yeah.
us know if you've heard anything from a developer, because all this has been sort of happening during E3.
And there's a lot.
The whole IGN office
So
goes down
much.
there. So yeah. New Light, free-to-play entry point for all players. That's excellent. No more platform-exclusive content. Love it.
Very good.
Going to
Verbatim,
Steam.
he says that. No more exclusives.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me my wave splitter.
PC obviously had to get off the BNet launcher, right?
That makes sense.
Steam is a good platform
So
for
did they
Destiny
say they're
2, I
actually
think.
removing it from the Battle.net?
I was
If I
wondering.
had
I'm
to guess,
assuming
yeah.
yes. Yeah, I'm assuming yes.
Because
They are-
in their promotional material, it says Shadowkeep. It lists the platforms it's on, and it's
Yeah.
Blizzard's not like listed.
Right. Well, because they talked about
Take that, capital R
that-
reasons.
they talk about implementing to make sure that transition happens smoothly. Like they mentioned that in a couple.
Yeah, and what the same, but that goes
points.
back to the same topic you were talking about, where you move to a different platform and you have
Yeah.
to buy that content again. If we move to Steam, Steam's not getting any of the money
Oh, gotcha.
that we paid for when we bought all of that Destiny stuff.
Yeah,
So,
but they work that out behind
Yeah, that's
the
what I'm
scenes.
saying. If it's worked out behind the scenes, like Bungie's like, hey, like these Blizzard players need to have it.
Here's an interesting thing I just thought of. /join hasn't been working. Maybe that's because they're prepping for the transition to Steam.
/join's not working?
Yeah, /join on BNet isn't working, and that's probably because they have to detach our BNet tags. Like that whole process isn't just
Right,
going to
right.
be like.
That's not an easy process.
Bungie is going to have to make it simple for us. That's
Yeah.
going to be a challenge for them. They say they haven't figured out, which is great.
Yeah.
I'm just
But, yeah.
like not worried, but like wondering about like the friends list and stuff like that.
Oh,
because,
yeah,
like,
the whole-
There's so many. It's just such a completely different infrastructure.
Yeah.
Between Blizzard and
The
Steam.
whole cross save in general too. Like, I wonder how that's going to work. Like, are you going to have multiple counts still, or I mean, I don't think you could probably be able to merge your accounts. But I mean, for me
No.
right now,
You pick one, and that's your one.
Exactly. but
I'll just do my PC one. I have more hours in.
and I'll do that as well too. But the reason why I'm nervous about doing that is I kind of want to have that old school PS4. If there's anything that would tie my account to Destiny 3, if there's a Destiny 3 in the future, my
Then make-
PS4 account had Destiny 1 callbacks and Destiny 2, which PC doesn't have, right? So I don't know how that's
You
going
could
to
just
play out.
make a new PS4 account and transfer it to there.
Yes, but then if I do that, it's just a bunch of stuff that I haven't played with PS4 since,
Yeah, you're going back to an
came
account
out.
that's like light level
Yeah,
300 power,
exactly.
300.
Yeah.
No.
So, but
Uh,
still good, bro.
One note on that raid thing from earlier, and I tweeted it. We didn't give props to Concern, the people that we ran with.
Oh
Yeah. So Global Reset, backwards, and some
Teddy,
other guys I can't remember.
Charge.
Teddy and his brother. Thank you guys. Yeah, that was really good. I tweeted it during all the announcements, sort of as
Yeah,
a
we
joke.
had a rough
Yeah.
time when we got to the third phase, which is right before the final boss. So then we took a lull at like
I
3
needed to
a.m.
rest. I was feeling.
Yeah, some people wanted to
Let's
stay
talk,
up.
I want to
but-
talk about that later because I think
yeah,
there's some
sure.
important points there. But let's get through
Experience,
the big news
was good.
right now. Bungie and the player will decide what happens to Destiny going forward. I really, really like that.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Bungie will be willing to listen to us and take some of the feedback that we have on the show and implement it. And of course, the rest of the community. I think we're all really vocal. Anybody that's been covering Destiny as long as we have,
Absolutely.
or the community has, yeah, for sure. Keep giving that feedback. Bungie is listening, and just do it in a chill way.
Bungie's listening.
Yeah,
You
the
said
way
it.
CJ
You said
does
it.
Yeah. Well, they say they are.
No, I know. Well, and I mean, so look at all the things that got announced. Like
Mm-hmm.
when we were watching it, you texted me. You're like, "Wow, this is all really good." I'm like, yes, it is.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, like, if you think back to even the launch of D2, which was still a really good launch. Like when you think about what the
I
game
just want to say
was.
one more
launch
thing.
of D2?
Transmogrification, but continue.
There you go. No, exactly.
Fatalities.
Sean. Exactly,
Finishers.
Yeah.
Finishers. Which finishers seem very, like, I want to say something about finishers is like, it's like I'm hoping
Halo
that,
Reach.
I'm hoping that like because finishers right now, like all I can imagine in Destiny is that is more of a vanity, because you're seeing them do finishers on like big ogres and knights and stuff like that. I'm like, is that more vanity versus like effectiveness? Because I'm like, I'm wondering, is there more of a reason for me to do a finisher on a
No,
order
dude,
versus shotgunning him in the face in 2 seconds rather than taking the extra few seconds?
It's to
Yeah.
show off. It's absolutely
that's
to show
Yeah.
off.
like I'm,
Like-
I'm
like
hoping that there's a reason
dunking.
more than a
Yeah.
vanity to like in PvP. Totally cool.
Man, everyone
Yeah,
keeps
'cause, like-
emoting, after
Yeah.
tractor cannoning
Yeah.
a whole team. Let's just let them have a little
But in
finisher.
PvE, I feel like that's going to be way more of a vanity
Yeah.
than it is going to
Oh.
be like an actual like necessary mechanic.
Imagine doing a finisher to like a raid boss.
What raid? Like just come here, orcs.
Well, and they haven't said how many finishers is going to be. Maybe a finisher becomes like an emote, and you have to equip one. Like who knows how it's going to be
Yeah.
implemented?
That's
I'm sure
probably-
it'll be an
that's
additional
probably what
slot like in
Yeah.
your inventory section
Yeah.
on the character screen.
But
Yeah.
cool though. It'd be nice if it was like a
Oh, you
meta
know what?
game
They're
where
going
you
to
did
remove
have
the
a
raid.
little
They're
bit
going
of
to
a
remove the
cooldown.
raid
and-
banner from the character inventory screen. That's on the bottom right. That's where your raid banner is. That doesn't need to be there. That's where they're going to put
yeah.
finishers.
Oh,
Maybe.
okay. You're talking about you. Well, they've changed the UI dramatically in a bunch of ways. We can talk about that after too.
Transmogrification is something Destiny has really, really needed. We all look like trash monsters every
Yeah.
season, and now I can
When the
just
season starts, you are a gross-looking
Yeah.
human being. Or
and honestly, I just stay that way because I don't
Yeah.
want to. But I still have a lot of questions actually
About that, me
the
too.
core systems. I don't know what they're going to do about vault space. They still haven't figured out collections. We don't know what they're doing with enhancement cores. Those are some of the questions I again will have for them.
Yeah.
Hopefully during the show if we get some time. I want to know what they're going to do about those challenges that they've seen in development because those have been really, really frustrating
Yeah.
to deal with. But transmogrification will mean I can look cool. I want to know what kind of investment materials I'm going to have to invest to keep that cool set.
Yep.
And is that going to be the best utilization, or am I still going to be encountering the trash monster problem?
Yeah, and they didn't actually say transmog. I mean, we're just saying that.
No,
you
they
know.
said.
Sean
Oh,
Mirabelle.
sorry.
They didn't
Yeah,
say the
like-
word transmogrification. They said that like
That's what it is.
Sorry, it's not perks. They didn't say perks. They said mods
Yeah.
that you've acquired can be used on
A bunch of other different
on other
armor
gear.
and
So
stuff,
I'm
yeah.
assuming that mods are no longer going to be a consumable, and they're going to be something you've unlocked, and you can spend materials to apply it
Yeah.
to a piece of armor.
But it's funny because
Gunsmith
when
materials.
But when
Enhancement
Urk
core.
was actually
Yeah.
saying it in the middle of Vidoc, he's like, I can't remember the term he used, but he's like, if you're going to potentially style or functionality, or he said something like that, and he's like, and usually you're going to go with, and I was like, style. So I interrupted. I was like, no, not style. Oh, right, the other thing. But now it's cool that you have the ability to kind of,
Yeah.
mix and
Pick
match.
and choose.
For sure. Honestly, I'm really, really excited about that. That one church map,
Widow's
CJ.
Court.
Widow's Court, Destin.
back.
Get good.
Thanks, guy on the show I do.
Exactly. Well, when you said that, I was like, so Lars
You got
is
my
actually,
joke, right?
yeah, I did. Lars actually said that because when we were talking to him last time, I think we asked him on Twitter what were his favorite maps, and I know Widow's Court was one of his favorite maps.
Widow's Court is really good. It has those
It's
really
really
great
fun.
sniper lines. I bet they're going to adjust
Yeah.
the head glitching problems
Yeah.
that were
Has
encountering.
any
on that
game
map.
ever adjusted head glitching?
Well, they have with the newer maps that came back from D1. Actually.
Yeah, I mean, they always change the lanes and the sight lines and stuff like that too. But I mean, Widow's Court was probably one of my favorite Trials matches too. Now, obviously, they did not say Trials specifically, and Dado did ask a question to Luke at the end. But they did mention that PvP is going to get some much-needed love.
They're doubling down on PvP.
I really appreciate that. That was really good.
DMG, so this is some of the developer retweets that I had. DMG said, being a Crucible player myself, I'm excited for the future. Season 8 brings a renewed focus to PvP. Can't wait. And they did confirm, like, PvP is a little light.
Yeah.
Lars talked a little bit about Crucible Labs and how it looks like we're getting sort of an elimination game type, but not a lot about PvP.
It's said elimination on the screen when
Yeah.
they're going through it. So like
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Maybe.
great.
We'll see.
Yeah, but that's what we don't know. I mean, because again, if you look at elimination from D1 to D2, there were things that if I was thinking of what Trials was going to be like in D2, when you pick up ammo, your pickup bar resets when you're taking damage. So even when you're reviving people in Destiny 2, your pickup, your revive resets on damage.
Destiny 1,
that was
right?
not
Like
in Destiny 1.
You could revive as
And that's a problem. So if you look at the little mini games that arose in Trials, actually reviving somebody as you run by them or play their orb and
That's
stuff
why,
like that.
like, if they bring back Trials, I'm going to need that Warlock helmet. I forget the name of the Warlock helmet, but it increased the rate in which you revive
Yes.
a player.
Those are basically created for Trials. So if those kind of things come back, I would like them to undo that. I didn't mind what it is for special ammo and for picking up heavy. That's okay, but when you're taking damage and you're trying to revive an ally, not a fan. I would much rather the D1 version.
Yeah, those are the big updates. Overall, I have to say this is a really positive shift, not only tonally,
Yeah.
But
They also did confirm that the raid is going to be in the Black Armory. I feel like that's pretty big too.
they did.
Sorry,
I
not
didn't
Black
see
Armory.
that.
Sorry, Black Garden.
Yes.
I think I said Black Armory.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Black
for the
Garden
next
is going to
one.
be the raid for Shadowkeep.
Yeah, Shadowkeep.
Wow, that's really, really neat. Yeah, and in Shadowkeep, we see Eris Morn is back, and
Yeah.
the nightmares of our past, including
Rhoda.
Yeah.
you know,
Doll is there.
Doll.
Skolas.
Skolas.
Yeah, we saw Skolas.
And then also Callus is there as well too, I think, a little bit. So there's a little bit of everything in this, and it's weird. Now, again, we've seen
Wait,
these things
Callus
in the
was in there?
I thought
You
I
meant
saw.
Gaul.
You mean
Oh, you're right.
Gaul?
I did mean
Yeah.
Gaul. Yeah, I meant Gaul. But there's a lot of things that people have said, you're
Monte Carlo
playing the
was in
same
there, too,
location,
in the
yeah.
park,
But I said this before in a previous episode. The moon was by far my favorite destination.
Absolutely.
I thought that everything in Destiny 2 felt very approachable. There was just a lot of bright areas, like even in Nessus and Cosmodrome. It's not that it was not scary. It just was not. It didn't feel menacing.
There's
Like
a sense of dread.
yeah, like the moon feels really terrifying. The Thrall, the ogres, and all the the enemies in the moon always felt nerve-wracking and terrifying. The music in the moon was amazing too. I loved everything about
Just
the
the
moon.
aesthetic. The aesthetic of the moon
It's
is
so
just
good. Yeah, so I'm super excited to go back
I
there.
apologize for being on my phone. I had a bunch of notes written down about questions that I have
Yeah.
after this.
a lot.
I want to know more about where that line is between New Light and the paid content,
So the way I
For
interpreted,
sure.
yeah, it sounded
and
like
how that transition is going to work to transition those people into full-time players.
right.
Basically.
Well, I think that's the reason why they're saying the DLCs are siloed now, is because they didn't want to have people attach to them and need to buy them to get into the
Yeah,
next
like
DLC.
if you go and buy Shadowkeep, you don't have to own the season pass, the annual pass,
Yeah.
or Forsaken. But I think Forsaken is in New Light, right? Because
no.
it's part of the key
No,
art.
I don't. So the way
Dreaming
I
City is in the key art for that.
help us out though. The way I interpreted it was Destiny 2 Year
Year
1.
one.
Forsaken is a
Yes.
Year 2
Which
product.
is weird because the Dreaming City is in the key art for New Light.
It is, but
Which is
I mean,
weird to me if it's not because I know Gambit's part of New Light.
yeah. But so here, I mean, so we've often said this, and I actually have mentioned this before in previous episodes. We said, oh, you know what?
Our
Make Destiny
sentiment.
free to play. Like, and I said that in a way that I never thought that it would happen. I thought maybe they would put Crucible in there as free to play. I thought they
Yeah.
would maybe have a couple PvE activities or something like that. I
They
did
would fill out
not
the base
think that
game.
they would put the whole first year of Destiny in there as
I mean,
a free to play
it
experience.
honestly kind of makes sense in a way too, because like if you go to like stores and you buy a disc-based version of vanilla Destiny 2, it's like $5.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so,
exactly.
Like, and they're probably making little to no money on those purchases, especially people who go in the game and buy like a used game. They're making like no money on base game.
Yeah.
When's the last time we saw Eris Morn?
Taken King.
Yeah,
Taken King.
At
And
the
what
end.
did she do at the end?
She grabbed the crystal.
the shard.
Yeah, the shard. Yeah.
Right, of Oryx.
Yeah.
And she's been gone since.
Yeah.
So this is her first return. She seems more powerful, but is she good? Is she a friend or foe? She seems like she's not having a good time.
I mean,
the
so
trailer.
and now even since, like, obviously Kate has died now. I don't know how they'll play that into the story.
Did he though? He micromanaged.
I mean, yes.
Kate's totally
Kate's
dead.
dead.
Oh
But,
man, what if
you
he
know.
comes back as like a haunting or whatever they're calling it?
Oh yeah.
Can a
Oh,
guardian
yeah.
come back if their ghost died and a new ghost comes and revives them?
I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's your visions of your past. So
Yeah.
anything, it like opens up the possibilities for anything to
Yeah.
return.
Yeah. Imagine if
Yeah.
Kate comes back, but he's a baddie, and so
Yeah.
you like go against him.
Yeah.
Cade
cool.
7.
That'd be cool.
What else we got? I'm curious how the piecemeal a la carte content delivery is going to work. So if I buy Shadowkeep for $35,
Yeah.
it seems like I will get access to like part 1 of that content and everything entailed. There's also the $149.99 collector's edition, and I'm like,
That comes with a lot of physical stuff, though.
like, is that
Yeah.
just for the physical items, or like, what is the incentivization to buy, that much?
Yeah, I'm sure that
More
might come with
expensive
like
platform.
silver or whatever. Who knows?
Yeah,
but-
really curious about that. Why were 2 hunters wearing Celestial Nighthawk in PvP? That is definitely a question. I'm curious.
Who did
about-
this?
Yeah.
One thing
It's like,
that I have a
look,
question.
I get that the helmet looks good, but
Well, it looks good. It
yeah.
does look good.
One thing that I've been like another question that's been arisen from that
Yeah.
Vidoc 2 is that there was a lot of year 1 gear being worn
Yeah.
in that Vidoc. Like more specifically, I saw the Warlock robes from Warmind in there. So I'm hoping that that's just a hint that all that year 1 armor is coming back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I also
Bring us brought to year 2 or year 3.
I saw
as it would
the
be.
Iron Banner set from year 1 Destiny.
Year 1
The
Destiny
Titan was
1, right?
rocking Destiny 2.
That's it.
Yeah, and the Titan was rocking. I'm like, oh, good. I actually have that set, and I really, really like one of the like samurai looks that they had
Yeah.
done. So if I can bring that forward and change the mods on it, because
Yeah.
it's masterworked and everything. So
Because I want to go for beauty and effectiveness.
And
Of
now
course.
you can.
And the
Everybody
warlock
does.
robes from
Now you can.
Warmind were just beautiful. The
Yeah,
Bray
they
Tech
were.
armor.
Yep.
And it's like,
They were.
if I can bring that into year 2.
So what's your guys' favorite thing if you were to like kind of say, besides all of it, because honestly it was all pretty good, what's the one thing that you think is the biggest or most impactful change for you personally?
the moon.
Just
The moon coming back?
destination?
I miss the moon.
yeah.
Okay.
So
I think it's Bungie's renewed focus. This feels like Bungie's back
Yeah.
to me, and they're not hindered by any agreements.
Capital Rs.
Yeah.
Capital R's, no more capital R reasons, and that eliminates the frustrations for me as a player when I'm having to talk about the PlayStation exclusive content,
Yeah.
or even as a content creator,
Yeah.
where it's like, okay, I have to play on the PlayStation version because they have this one thing
Yeah.
that we should probably check out, even though like I haven't done that for like a year,
Yeah.
but now there's no more reason.
Yeah.
So that's really good for me. Just eliminating those barriers.
Yeah.
That's what has me most hopeful. And I really like that we're gonna. Sorry, I'm gonna say too.
No, you're good.
We're gonna get new Guardians in the world.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna have free access to the game, and it being on Steam, I think it's really gonna open up the
that is
market.
like, I mean, I've had like 6 or 7 people like talking to me about like Destiny, how they have like a renewed like interest in Destiny, not just because of
People
new
at
light.
work.
Yeah, people at work too, and not just because of new light, because most of these people already own the game.
Yeah.
They've just fallen off of the train,
Yeah.
and they're seeing this, and like I know I said the moon is probably like something that I'm like the most excited about, but really it's the fact that they full on just said MMO.
Yeah.
MMO,
that
and
too.
they're like doubling down on RPG stuff like that. So I'm super excited to see what they do with that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Luke Smith did say that they use the term MMO not in a way for people to think subscription or, like 1,000 people doing a raid boss run or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. But I'm excited to see what they do with that RPG system.
Nice.
What's your favorite thing, CJ?
So it's weird. Now that you guys both mentioned this, I was going through the airport and somebody saw my IGN backpack and
Yeah.
shirt, and they're like, "Oh, IGN, you must be going to E3." And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh, what are you
Oh,
excited
yeah,
for?"
we didn't address that we were at the E3.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
We're
right.
here.
Down there.
The set will be there. That's where we'll be doing the show next week.
It's my apartment. No, I like the IGN.
Yeah, but then they were like, "Oh, I said, "Oh, Destiny. I don't know if you're into that." They're like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of it, but I'm not playing it." And I was like, "Well, it's gonna be free in September." And they're like, "Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna give it a shot then."
Yeah.
So just that conversation alone, as well as the fact that when you try to get into these games when you miss them, there's a lot of catching up to do. I feel like Bungie has solved that problem a little bit with these bounties and different things getting into it. Now that you don't need to have the conversation, because even when Forsaken came out, you remember the conversations we had with everybody? How do you get into Forsaken? What'd you tell people?
Well, simply just get your character, and then you need to play for like 100 hours.
Yes,
and then we can raid together.
Yeah, you were
It
like,
was so
"Oh,
fun.
did you need to own Warmind, or did you need it?" There was always a conversation. Now it's like, you want to get Shadowkeep,
You have
just
to
buy
go-
Shadowkeep.
buy it.
Oh, you got to go through Curse first, and I really don't want to play that with
It
you.
was
So
really
good.
weird.
I'll see you in a week.
So that coupled with cross save, thank you so much, cross
Yeah.
save, and then just the free to play things, I think are two of the biggest things. And the no exclusive for PlayStation weapons and all the rest of that stuff. Those, there's a bunch of things that culminate into just so many good things that, I did not expect to watch this and see all of those things in one announcement. I was thinking
Yeah.
maybe they'll tease a couple things here, and then they'll save more things, so they're gonna maybe talk to people at E3 and this and that. But that was pretty crazy. There was a bunch of very big deals. In
The
that
biggest
announcement.
Destiny news in the history of the franchise.
I think so.
News day, at least.
Well, we were talking about from a Vidoc standpoint. I've always said No Legend is Safe has been my favorite Vidoc. That's the one where they announced.
Oh,
Taken
did they
King
one
and-
up themselves?
I think that they might have, from an impact standpoint.
Yeah.
The Vidoc itself really showed a lot of behind the scenes. You saw a lot more people at the office. You saw them actually collaborating at their computers and talking.
Seems like
and-
there's been like a jump, just a big rejuvenation
Yeah.
in like everybody at Bungie.
It was
so
really
it's
well
very
done
exciting
that
to see
way.
that.
Yeah. So I mean, I gotta let it marinate a little bit, but it's right up there. I think for probably one of my favorite Vidocs actually.
It's nice to go into E3 and just feel good
Yeah.
about Destiny right now.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't really have any gotcha
Dude.
questions lined up or anything. I am thinking though there are challenges that they're currently facing with the sandbox.
Yeah.
They still have the issue with weapons that spike in power, and they hammer them into the ground, and like they're gonna have to figure that out still. There's still people that don't like the PvP experience.
Yeah.
Like, I'm wondering, are they gonna nuke the progression system? Like, what does that term MMO mean going forward?
Yeah.
How
and
is
does
that
PvP
gonna
affect
change
it?
the way that we play currently and the way that we know Destiny as of today?
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna introduce some really, really interesting aspects to the game, hopefully.
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing. Like, I feel like I've accepted that. I always jokingly say this: the evolution of Destiny it does ebb and
Roller
flow.
coasters,
It's
yeah.
roller coasters.
You
but
made that analogy, CJ, and it actually made me realize that, yeah, like when I'm on the downs now, I'm just kind of like, oh, this is just what it is. I had
Yes.
never thought about it that way before.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Yeah, no, and
Yeah.
it's not that it's bad. It's just one of those things where I think the biggest challenge for Bungie and anybody who's playing these games is you always want to play something new all the time. And I think what they realize is that people want to play a bunch of content right away. They don't want to be gated by it. So
Yeah.
I think they hear that with Shadowkeep, and then I think they'll probably still introduce little things like 0 Hour and everything else as it goes.
Yeah.
But just looking at again everything they've been working on now since, and as well with Opulence. There's a lot of stuff they got going on.
Yeah.
I was already rejuvenated with the new content that came out this week. I was
Yeah.
feeling really
The
good,
raid's
excited
fun,
to play
man.
more.
It's just real rough
Yeah.
to get into there with the power, the power disabling. But
Kudos to you guys, because honestly, now you can talk about it a little bit. I was
Yeah, let's
watching.
go
Yeah,
into raid.
I was watching a little bit. I didn't get a chance. I was here prepping for E3 and traveling and doing that stuff a few days before you guys were. When I watched it remotely, I thought it was pretty funny. I saw you go until probably about like midnight or 1, and then I saw the tweet.
Dude,
and
I
I'm
go to
like,
bed at
I'm
midnight
out.
now.
Yeah, but you were up till almost like 1:30 or 2.
I think
we stayed up till 3.
Did you?
I think we like we decided like the later we go, the worse we're gonna get because we're all tired and drained. And
Oh,
like we're
yeah.
not gonna beat this if we're just like dead.
We came back the next day and did it on our second attempt.
Yeah.
And then
Always.
within 2 hours, we had finished the raid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to the boss and it
I
was good.
honestly think the mistake DCP did is they didn't give themselves enough time to rest and feel good because they wanted that 24-hour emblem.
Did they take a break?
They took a brief break, and they were back at noon. They agreed to come back at noon, and they went from noon until 3 again.
Right.
AM.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember how late I watched it. Maybe it was like 11. I think they beat it around 11 p.m.
Oh my goodness.
And Miss Watts, you know, she wasn't feeling well, so she actually was like really sick by the end of it. So, it's sort of weird. Like, I'm really happy that we won. I also don't really want to gloat about it because it was such a challenge. But we won. Sorry for that. I'll gloat
I
a
will
little
still
bit.
gloat.
I'll gloat a
It
little
is
bit.
funny that you say that there is, and I've experienced this too with raids, because Steven and I and a couple teams did Callus, and I think placed top 60 or something like that. There's a threshold at which all of a sudden it doesn't matter how much you play. If you're too tired, your brain just doesn't work.
Yeah.
You can go to bed, go to sleep, wake up, next day done. And I've done that so many times. I remember when Crota first came out, it was the same thing. You spend 2 or 3 hours on Crota and you're just like, or Skolas, same thing, can't do it. I've come, wake up the next day
it's
and then
giving
you're like,
your brain
boom.
that refresh.
Yeah,
Like
it's
just come back to it with a
crazy.
clean head. And it's like taking a question exam. I'm gonna come back to that one, and then you just like, oh yeah, there you go.
Let's talk positive negatives about the contest and the leveling. So real quick,
okay.
The 6-hour window to level, I don't know if I like that yet. I haven't really completed my thought and feelings about how that worked. I kind of like that it was a rush, but then you get into the raid and you're already tired from a 6-hour gaming session.
Yeah.
That I don't like.
That's what I figured was going to happen. That's when I said to you, you're going to stream and start in the morning and go all day. I was like, oh my god.
Well, we did Last Wish for 24 hours. We went 22 hours on this one, and honestly, I don't know if I'm going to do it again.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because it's just too much and it's detrimental to your. It's not healthy.
It's not. I think the
justification.
There's justification in the 6-hour window of leveling, if they didn't impede the progress you made. By you got to 720 before you
And
get to the
that was
raid, but it doesn't matter because you're capped at 700 in the raid.
But
they create that artificial difficulty.
But only the first 24 hours.
Only the first 24 hours of the raid, yes, but then it's just like, what's the point? What's the point of the 6 hours? Everybody's already 700.
I like the contest. I think it should be shorter, maybe, and I think they need to figure out a way that you only need to play on one character to progress. You shouldn't have to go through the old content and everything. Like if it was just, hey, look, we're going to open the menagerie for 3 hours. That is how you progress in this season. and that is what you play. And the
that's also-
menagerie teaches you a lot of mechanics for the raid.
That's also
and
what
then the raid will
what I hope that Bungie learns from the future. I think I talked about it a little bit on last season, but they did it anyways, or not last season, last episode. Is that with new seasons they do this thing where to get into the content you have to do old content to get into it.
Yeah.
So like there's a point in the very beginning mission where you finally get to the menagerie and you do it, and it's like that should just be the starting point.
I liked.
You have to go to. I forget what planet you do, but you do this and kill these certain enemies and kill these certain enemies. Do these activities.
You go to Nessus, you talk to the robot.
Yeah.
The robot makes you do stuff.
And you should do stuff that you've already been done. It's like, no, the introduction to this new content should be the new content.
The menagerie, and I like the menagerie. What did you think?
No, the
Brian?
menagerie is great. I
It's
think
cool.
it's really
I
cool.
haven't had time to
I haven't
play
had
it.
time
I wanna
to
go play more.
Yeah, with
I
E3 and
know.
all that, and traveling, I haven't actually had time to dive into it. So
Literally, had we not beaten it Thursday, that was it. Like we wouldn't have been able to beat the raid
You're
on
here.
the first week.
Yeah.
So
Don't have time
it's
to-
easy.
Well, because
it's E3
well,
time.
that's what I mean. So this is the first time because I was thinking about that. I was like, wait, we've never been in this situation before because there's never been a raid in June.
Yeah.
And so there's always been content drops. I think usually when I look back at it in like March or
Early.
September, and so this is the first time because of the way that they've staggered this seasonal release stuff that there's been a raid in June.
Yeah.
So there's never been an issue. We were always hearing, oh, these are all the cool things that are coming out in September.
that's why it's been like
still
it's been like
but-
an interesting week for Destiny because like leading up to like we have that content that's in like January, February, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we have this lull until E3 time when they dump a bunch of information on you.
Yeah.
But we just had a big content drop 2 days before they announced even larger content drop.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
Yeah, exactly.
Do you-
So.
So how do you guys feel about contests? Good or bad? The throttling of your life for 24 hours.
good. If the throttling was communicated way more in advance.
Because they announced it, they said like, hey, here's what's going to happen. And then a few weeks later they said, hey, we're changing this.
Yeah, or do something.
No Gambit bounties. And then they said this. It's like, decide
Like, hold
how
on
you
there.
want to
Exactly.
do this. Let
That.
us know where the starting line is, and we'll go to the starting line
Exactly,
prepared.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
you can't. It wasn't appreciated that it kept moving. It was like this fluid thing.
They kept on trickling out information on things that won't work to give you a leg up.
The
in
month lead,
conversation.
perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but so
yeah.
in their defense, I think what happens is they obviously there it is, whatever. They're looking at like your guys' tweets. They're looking at gigs and Glad and all that stuff. And there's a lot
Here's
of
our
people.
spreadsheet. We literally had a spreadsheet.
We had a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Like
they're
everybody
But they're
else.
looking at those people, and I think so.
part
They
of the
are
race,
making
though.
feedback. They're taking feedback based on that, and some of the feedback was good. And it was not until like they started saying it a little bit before. Hey, these are the things that we would like to happen in order to make it more fair. So I think, like I totally hear you. It should be maybe more in advance, but I think this was a good thing overall versus the way it used to be.
I guess
For
it's
sure,
worth,
for
I guess
sure.
it's worth saying that I agree with you in that sense where they could use this season as a test run for
Yes.
that certain that type in the future. So next time there's a raid that's on day one, they'll be like, okay, these are all the things that we're going to communicate that will not work to give you a leg up
Yes.
ahead of time.
Yes.
And that doesn't change up to day one where we're like, oh, I did all that for no reason. To get that leg up. But as long as we know those things in advance, then I'm totally over with
Yeah.
The contest seemed to be just right because 100 teams were able to clear it on the first 24 hours.
PC only.
Yeah.
In the first 24 hours,
PC
there was,
only is
in
an
the first
issue.
24 hours, there was only actually one console. Team
I
that beat
remember
it.
reading that. Yeah. I remember reading
Yeah.
that.
So my take is I really, really like the contest.
Yeah.
I think it's okay. I don't know about the leveling thing. I think that something needs to happen there. I don't know what. In my opinion, I think like every bounty that we have for this season, I think drops for those should be capped at 750.
Which is fair. Like that content drops that content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Because
and it
we were
stays there.
stacking. Like, thank God I didn't do all the bounties because I had all these
Yeah,
drops
I
just
was
waiting.
Yeah,
to
I was
pop.
like, I was about ready to start the Gambit grind to get all the Gambit bounties up, so you could get like 40 to 4,500 on day one in Infamy. But then, like right before I started, they're like, oh yeah, Infamy bounties aren't going to work.
Yeah.
Right.
Gambit bounties aren't going to give
Well,
you.
and they-
So dredging, I got it. Take
Oh,
that,
there
Sean.
you go. There you go.
he got dredging.
Yeah, Sean did, but he.
I know,
Destin
but
didn't
I
have
got it too now.
Yeah, Destin didn't
Yeah.
have it.
I still
but
don't
yeah,
have it.
and they closed the raid and stuff like that down too. And I read some of those tweets where people saying, "Oh, I shouldn't be limited to this," but it's only 24 hours. Like to me, it is about the race. Like,
Well, what's your take?
Well, so that's what I mean. Without having done it this time, I feel like my take is not really valid because I wanted to actually take part in it.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
you still understand the intricacies of it.
Yes, I
so,
understand.
Like,
I think that this is a lot better. I think that you're right. If they had told us weeks in advance or 3 or 4 weeks or a month, that would be good. Once we know the date of the raid.
The month lead is perfect. They tell us the date. They tell us the level you need to be.
Yes.
It will cap at 720.
Not just the date and time. Yeah.
So that's all good. And the 24-hour thing, I really like too. I think there's something to be said for if you're going to compete in a world's first, you understand that there is an artificial barrier in a way because you're doing it quickly, and that's the reason that makes the content harder to do.
Which I'm not sure I'm a fan of artificial difficulty.
But see, I don't really think of it as artificial difficulty because it's only if you want to do it within the first 24 hours. If you didn't, you could play Destiny for a couple days, a week, whatever, get to the power level you think that you need to get to in order to beat it, and beat it. But it is an artificial difficulty within the context of knowing full well the most skilled people are going to be doing this in 24 hours, and you want to see the most skilled people win. I know that now Datto is primed for a first place finish. The guy finishes twice, and I cannot wait to watch him do it again because now he's going to go into it gunning for that first place spot.
Yeah.
I think it's good the way it is, but I'm sure they'll add a few more things based on feedback over this time for the next one, and I think that's the important thing. So
I honestly thought we had top 10 chance this time. Like the amount of preparation that we had done.
We did have a lot of preparation.
I realized a few things. I need to play the game more, just regularly on PC with keyboard and mouse. If I do it again, I need to definitely take 2 days off. I can't just do the first day because it will bleed into the second day. And even if we beat it on that second day, I need to sleep.
It is also rough because
and it's unhealthy. That is my most concerning aspect.
I'm just so glad it didn't take as long as the last Wish did.
I brought it up during Last Wish. I'm like, this really isn't healthy. I don't feel good. This time I'm like, this is a problem. This isn't something I can do to my wife, And
I was saying that.
Married now,
exactly.
And if I ever have kids or anything, some of the guys on our team do have kids.
Yeah.
Some of the people on the show have kids.
It's also worth
Or
noting.
also been married.
It's worth noting, and probably should go without saying that we don't put any of that on Bungie, right? Doing these types of races are something that we decide to do as gamers, and
absolutely.
Bungie, my wife's gonna get mad at me. And it's not.
That's my favorite.
I know that's not what you're saying.
Not what I'm saying.
I'm not saying that's what you're saying. I'm
saying. To enter the raid, you need to play for 6 hours solid.
Yeah.
To have a chance.
To have a good leg up
at wrapping
in the raid.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
No, I would say you need to do it. You need to do
100%.
the play for the 6 hours, and
and not just the 6 hours.
minimum
Before that.
The raid is going to take 8 hours.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Yeah.
But you also have to
That's
understand.
14 hours straight of Destiny.
And that's exactly what we did.
Yeah. But you also have to understand too, these other people who are playing together with the same teams and the same squads, it is like a sport where you just see them, driving with each other because they know and they're in these encounters and playing that. Because how many times in the last few raids have you
why I'm concerned,
changed your teams?
People actually die doing it like this.
Oh,
and that's why I'm like,
absolutely.
Okay, this is good. It's a sport. I think Bungie can figure out a way where it's at a level of healthy. That's okay.
I don't know, man.
I just don't think we should put that on Bungie
No,
because
exactly.
they're giving us tools and we're kind of we're using them, but you don't have to do that sort of thing.
To me, it's like this.
It's on you. Really.
Here's the analogy.
Of course, that's how I.
Here's the analogy. To me, it's like going into a marathon thinking it's a sprint. This is not a sprint. The raid is a marathon. Period. And if you don't know that going in or not,
you only get
expecting
3
that,
hours to do a marathon.
Well, regardless, let's say whatever it is, like a triathlon, or my point is
cross-country thing
yes,
where you ride your bike across the
a little bit of everything. That's what it is. So if you are going in,
you can't train for lack of sleep.
Exactly. You got to know that this is what it is. I'm glad that that's what it is. You don't have to do the raid this way.
Yeah.
It is a game, and it is something that's super exciting to watch the people who are really good do that. I love to see them watching a bunch of other people and streamers and going back and forth. And last time when you guys were doing Last Wish, Cosmo actually treated you guys out. Oh, there's a new person entering into the lead because you guys all got to the same spot and you were all near the end at the same time.
That raid, we were neck and neck.
Yeah, and that's the exciting part of it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Last Wish we finished in the 50s or 60s. This one we finished 154th.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's not teams, right? That's 154th
That's
is
teams.
people.
That's
Yeah.
I don't know where we ranked on people, because what happens is the world first guys do it, then they do it like 5 more times.
Right.
Yeah,
So
with
it kind of like
different
starts populating the list. But I know we were the 54th team to complete it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Anyways,
I-
it'll be
I-
interesting to see what they do in the future. To
Yeah,
tweak it.
I like it. I'm sure Bungie's considering what I'm talking about, though.
Oh,
And
yeah.
no, I don't put that on them.
Yeah.
But I think a competition can be, there can be a middle ground. They're really close to it right now.
Yeah.
They're really close to it right now.
To me, it's like but look at what was the last raid again?
Last Wish was Last Wish.
No.
Oh, sorry, Scourge.
Scourge. So look at that one. That one didn't take very long.
I think it was beat in 2 hours completely.
I beat it very quickly, and like we were done by 6.
And what'd you think?
I didn't like it.
Okay, but so that's what I'm
I
saying.
did. It wasn't about the difficulty, the infinite res glitch happened in that one, and
but there's
there were
something-
different.
I think the
problems with
issue
that
there,
raid.
though, is
Yeah.
that originally the Black Armory's raid was going to be a raid layer.
Yeah.
And so at the last minute, just before the full final reveal of Black Armory, Bungie's like, it's actually a raid.
Yeah.
So I think that
But again,
that's what happened. Is
That's
that,
another perception thing, though, right?
Yeah.
That's another communication. Like, oh, what level of raid is this? Is this a
exactly? So I think it's
it's
at the tipping point between a raid layer and a raid. So that's why it was able to beat so fast, because
Yeah.
it was
I need-
more raid layer than it was raid.
I don't even know what we did Scourge in. Like that's how. I don't know. I just really didn't like that raid.
But it's
Because,
funny,
like,
It's fine. I like the raid. You don't like the raid itself, or do you not like
the
that it
raid
was a
itself
short?
is fine. It's the infinite res thing. I just felt
'cause it
like I
broke
was.
it.
I felt like I was cheating,
Right.
and I'm just like, well, this takes away my feeling of accomplishment.
But like if it's
Because-
there, you're not gonna not res someone because it's not unfair. But
Yeah, and
Well,
like,
see-
like even the world's first in that one, like they had the infinite res glitch, I think, or at least the second place sure as hell did.
Yeah.
Because it happened so frequently. It happened in this.
It happened in
raid.
this raid. I had infinite
Yeah.
reses the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
So-
Crown of Sorrow.
But see, like when you guys say it, I always think D1, it's like that was basically normal mode. And then in hard mode, there wasn't.
Yeah.
And if anything, like maybe rather than having,
If that's the mechanic, cool. Communicate it.
Yes.
Just make that the mechanic.
Yeah. res tokens
I
I've
think
never been a
what-
fan of in a way.
I think what they're doing is they're using a countdown timer, like
Yeah.
a 5-minute countdown timer, but like it's somewhere like you can glitch into that setting. But yeah, I don't
See,
know.
that's why I like Golgoroth and I liked Crota because there was a game mechanic that negatively impacted you and it happened.
Yeah.
Like you had to kill the Oversoul, or with Golgoroth you could only have people wipe 6
Oversoul.
times and then yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
in
Crota.
order to
That's Crota.
clear it up. So maybe there's something like that could be developed in more of the raids because whether or not it glitches or not, then there's a gameplay mechanic involved in it, right? So
Yeah, for sure. That's everything I wanted to go over for this episode. Man, there's a lot to talk about going into E3, and we're going to have a lot more
it's crazy.
coverage. Bungie's going to be on our live show.
Yep.
You and I are going to be on that, right?
yeah.
Asking them
You and
questions.
I,
Yeah.
and you guys are gonna record Fireteam chat. with
Yeah.
them as
Yeah.
well.
Then we're doing a Fireteam chat right after that. So the live show will be like kind of like an overview of everything that they'll be discussing with us, and then Fireteam chat we're going to get into those nitty-gritty questions
Yeah.
that a lot of you guys have been asking. So leave your questions in the comments. Maybe
Let
I
us know.
forgot something. I have been scouring Twitter looking to
Yep.
see what you guys are wondering about, and of course Bungie is going to help us out and clarify any
Yeah.
of those sort of like where does New Light end and new stuff start. They're probably going to help us out and clarify that.
And hopefully we can have maybe a little reunion as well too. There is one friend Mirabelle that might be floating around
Yeah.
free next week.
It
So
would be great. I saw Sean and you
Yeah.
and the Stev.
we were hanging out last night for a little
Yeah.
bit, so it was good to have the gang back
Yeah.
together. Even though we sent them both an invite, but they had other obligations tonight.
Yeah,
but
of course.
hopefully we'll see them in the next few days. So.
Brian, anything else from you?
Nope.
All right, then until we bring you more from E3, until next time, everybody, Guardians out. That's right.